Hi there, wellness warriors. I hope that what I have to say today makes you mad. So for those of you who don't know me, I'm Holly Wade with Holly Wade Wellness, and my Facebook group is called Wellness Warriors. That is because I believe that it takes a warrior to stand up for their health and wellness. The reason is it's not normal. Most people don't do it because it's, quote, too hard. You have to have the courage and the fight to fight for your health. Now, today's topic, I've been doing some research and I really want to share this with you. There is some staggering information, and we have to start to ask ourselves some really hard, serious questions if we want to create health in this world. Hi, Joe. So, forgive me if letters are backwards. I wrote them, my signs backwards so that when you view them, they will be the right side instead of mirroring. And so I may have some things backwards. Forgive that. This is what it costs to take care of obesity in the U.S. in our health care. $147 billion currently. That is to increase to $210 billion quickly. For our workforce, that is a negative $4.3 billion with the B dollars that is lost from workers who miss work. Per obese person, it costs all of us $506. $506 per obese person. That's coming out of our pockets to pay for that healthcare system, to pay into health insurance, to pay into Medicare, to pay into our system. Childhood obesity has more than doubled in 30 years. I have that 3 backwards, I'm sorry. 1/3 of children are overweight or obese right now. That's not even getting into adolescence. I don't know about you, but I remember when I was a kid, there weren't that many big kids. And now I look around and it's not just that they're big boned. Some kids are just naturally big. That's not just the case. They are overweight and obese. And there are more who fall into that category than what I remember. And we have to think about how that is impacting disease, how that is impacting those kids' health. Diabetes. 30 million Americans are diabetic. That's not including pre-diabetes. $1 in $3 of Medicare is spent on diabetes. That's $322 billion and 1/5 of the total money spent in healthcare. 322 B with a billion, or billion with a B. Cardiovascular. It's $1 in every $6 in the U.S. healthcare cost. $1 billion a day is spent on cardiovascular disease. This is estimated to increase to $818 billion by 2030. These diseases are creeping into younger and younger and younger age groups. Cardiovascular disease, see, it used to be like people in their 50s, 60s had heart attacks. Not the case now. Now it's in the 20s. The problem is people in their 20s aren't going to the doctors to figure out that it's heart. And doctors aren't looking at people that young going, ooh, this might be a heart condition. So we have these athletes that are falling over in practice and then dying, and most of the time it's heart disease. We've got to pay attention. Cancer. $100 billion was spent last year on cancer. This is up 10.3%. And this is going to keep increasing in cost. I don't have the actual dollars on this one, but as an autoimmune sufferer, right now in the U.S. there are 50 million sufferers from autoimmunes. all of these diseases are growing exponentially, yet we have more information, we know more, we have better technology, and supposedly better systems. We should be getting a handle on what I call the big four. So the big four are cancer, diabetes, obesity, and heart disease, cardiovascular disease. The ages getting sick are younger and younger and younger and younger. And now it's not a question of if, it's a question of when we get sick. We have to pay attention. We cannot put up with this any longer. Oh, I did this one back. Yeah, I did this one right. So if we add those up, if we add those costs up, it's $1.287 trillion. Trillion with a T, not a B. This is what it costs us each year. Here's our national deficit, 2.99 trillion. Oh, I have that backwards. Here's our national deficit, $2.99 trillion is what we owe. We're in a $522 billion deficit. This and our national deficit. This is more than our national debt. Or no, not more than our national debt. This is more than our national deficit. Deficit, not debt. We need to start asking bigger questions. And those questions need to be, what is actually causing, not just the cause of disease, why aren't we finding answers? Why aren't we taking action? We need to ask, is it healthcare or is it sick care? Which one is it actually? Is it healthcare, but is it sick care? See, to me, that is not healthcare. And when we look at those numbers, this is not a political statement. This is actual, if you look at those numbers, it isn't Obamacare that jacked up our health insurance premiums. Let's get real. It is us. It is us. Gen Xers, we have to take responsibility for what we have created, because we have created a generation, and I hear this statement all the time. Oh my goodness, my kids or grandkids are going to have a mess to clean up. The millennials have a mess to clean up. Who created the mess for them to clean up? Gen Xers, we have to take responsibility. Healthcare is not, I don't know about you, but I don't want my healthcare, my choices in my health to be determined by pharmaceuticals, insurance, and government. I do not want them choosing that for me. My everyday choices, my food, my rest, my exercise, those everyday choices are the true prevention. And so many of us actually know this in our heads, right? We know this. We know what we're supposed to do, but we don't do it. Look at what's in your grocery cart. See, I used to tell this to my students when we'd talk about obesity, and I taught a course on a college campus. I really do think that, and this is going to get me in trouble for making this statement. I already know this. But when I look in grocery carts, and yes, I do that. I look at what people are buying and putting in their grocery carts. When we take a look at that, and then I see these people who have, their kiddos with them, we have to ask ourselves if that is a form of child abuse. Because we're slowly making our kids sick and dying, slowly creating disease in our own kids, not to mention ourselves. See, here's the thing. Millennials aren't going to be around to fix the problems we've created in our health and in our systems. And we have to ask, we have to really look at what is causing it, because if it was purely genetic, It would stay steady as far as percentage. Even though our population is growing, yes, it would grow in numbers, but it would stay steady as a percentage. And it's not. It's growing at an exponential rate. So we have to look at what are those other factors. And it has to be lifestyle choices and environment. We've got to look at those common denominators. Stress. Our kids are out of control stressed. We're out of control stressed. Food. How many food-like products are we eating that actually aren't giving our cells the nutrition that they need so that they can function properly? What about moving our bodies? See, we can come up with all kinds of excuses that sound really good logically. I don't have the time. I don't like to cook. I don't know what to do in the kitchen. Guess what? There is a plethora of free information on the internet. And we have to take responsibility for our own health and well-being. Here's the thing, parents. As we start to create and cultivate healthy lifestyles, you are the greatest influence on your kid anyone else will ever be in terms of their health and wellness. So if you start to create these healthy habits in your home, your kids are more likely to follow that. Now, does that mean we're not going to get sick? No. It just means that we are arming ourselves with a heck of a lot of prevention. And if you think that that's going to create pain and inconvenience to establish these healthy habits now, consider what that pain is going to be when you or a loved one is in that hospital bed. I can say that firsthand because I can tell you right now, from laying in a hospital bed and being in a hospital for recovery for 4 months in 2015, it was a heck of a lot easier to stay well than to get well. You're putting the same amount of energy into getting sick as you are into getting healthy. And the only way that we ever create change in our lives is when we feel pain. So I hope this has hit you in your heart, because it takes pain to create massive change. We can't create massive change on this planet, and we cannot create health until we start here. So, what are you going to do to create health for you and for your family? When you invest in your own personal well-being, it's a ripple effect into your family, into your loved ones. Will it cost you? Yes. Will it be easy? No. Do you have to get real with yourself? Yes. That's the only way. The truth is what sets us free. And until we are willing to get to the truth, we're going to continue to live in a lie. So today is your get real day. As Dr. Phil says, how's that working for you? Well, if it hasn't been working, you got to do different. And you can choose to make subtle changes until you have to make a drastic change. If you don't choose to make those subtle changes, there will come a point when you will have to make a drastic change. And that may be even more painful for you and or your loved one. So yes, I got on the soapbox today. I will probably get a lot of angry comments on this one. And I hope so, because that means I did my job. And that anger isn't about me. It's that you have to look at yourself right now. If you need and want help with that, that's what I do as a health coach. I help you get to the truth, face that pain, that actual pain, and help you move through all that discomfort. The more uncomfortable it makes you feel, the more you need to do it. That's the only way you can move through it. So, whew, Gina, just go back and watch the whole thing. I laid out the numbers of what we spend on quote health every day. So my question to you is, are you willing to spend this? So I'm going to leave you with this question. Are you willing to spend the billions and trillions in the big four: cancer, cardiovascular disease, diabetes, and obesity? Are you willing to spend that? Or are you willing to start spending money on the things that matter, like your sanity, your food, your well-being, your stress levels, moving your body? See, where we invest our money is where that outcome is going to be. So we are in control of our true health and our true health care. We don't need our government, our insurance, and our doctors to tell us what to do. Actually, it's not even our doctor's responsibility when we think about it. It's not our doctor's responsibility to make us healthy, because they can't follow us around to make sure we're doing all the right things to be healthy. And every good doctor will tell you, well, you got to move your body. You've got to cut out the smoking. You've got to cut the drinking. You've got to eat food. You've got to move your body. You've got to get sleep. It's the basics. It's not rocket science. So I hope that you are angry enough to make some changes. And like I said, I'm here to help. That's what I do as a health coach. I help you move through those changes. We set up a plan, and I am willing to do what it takes to help you get healthy. But it's not going to happen overnight. It is a commitment. It is a lifelong commitment. It's part of being the CEO of your life. It's part of getting that PhD in you. It's caring enough for this vessel and your life that you are willing to do what it takes, even if you don't like it, but you know you need to do it in order to regain your health. Because how can you serve this planet when you're sick? How can you live out your dream when you're sick and you don't have the energy to do that? How can you take care of your family when you're sick? How can you even generate an income when you're sick? How can you go enjoy life when you don't have the energy to put one foot in front of the other? And I am calling you out in love, because I've been there. I've been there. I had to wrestle with all of this. I was in the spiral of sickness and I couldn't get out of it. And I was missing out on life. I could not perform well at work. I lost relationships, and I had to regain those. I had to regain trust of many, many loved ones. That's the harder part. Hey, Kathy. So I'll just ask you to get on to the replay, because you will see. My question today is it healthcare or is it sick care? So please leave your comments. Please, please, please leave your comments. Thank you, Joe, for joining the entire time. Thank you for all the likes and loves and the wows. I'm going to put this video on YouTube. I'm sharing it in all of my platforms. Please share it away, because we need to create this global movement toward health. And the only way it starts is here, individually. Not with the millennials, not with our doctors. It starts here. Are you in? Thanks for joining, everyone. Have a great day. And like I said, if this created emotion, good. That's what I needed. That's exactly what I wanted. I will see you all later.